Hi, you guys. Hi. So, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Dana, and we're going to be talking more about my story of overcoming two narcissistic relationships. And now we're going to get into part three. Thank you for coming back. And I hope that this story reaches someone you or someone you love and helps someone in a similar situation. So we left off on December 2014 when I was still in the relationship with narcissist one and in the process of meeting narcissist number two. Now let me say something. I never heard of narcissism until 2020. I don't know whether I was living under a rock or whether it's just because it's not talked about, because it's not really talked about. But I never heard of it. Didn't know what it was. Definitely didn't know that it could be something to run into like in relationships. Most people, when they think of narcissism, they think of people in power or maybe a coworker or, like not in relation to relationships. So that is number one, how I ended up in two narcissistically abusive relationships back to back, because I didn't even know what it was. So I didn't even know what to be looking for and how to avoid such situations and such people. And like the Bible says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. So because these things aren't talked about, people are suffering. Women are suffering. Men are suffering. Men are not the only people who are narcissists. There are plenty of narcissistic women out there as well. And because people who have overcome or survived such relationships don't talk about what happened or don't heal, maybe they don't even ever heal from it because they don't know what it is, because nobody talks about it. So anyway, that's why I'm here. I'm finna talk about it. And yeah, I'm finna talk about it. So towards the end of the relationship with narcissist one, I'm feeling, defeated as a person, as a woman. I feel like I have, cheated on this man, and I haven't given him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, I never knew if he cheated or anything like that, but I felt like I failed in the relationship. I felt like I wasn't being a good girlfriend because I didn't hold him down, because I ended up, talking to other men while I was with him, even though he definitely wasn't doing his part in their relationship. I still felt bad because he still continually bashed me and continually wouldn't let it go and continually talked down to me, but yet he wasn't able to break up with me. He always wanted to stay in the relationship, of course, because they have trouble leaving. They almost are never going to leave you. They're almost never going to leave you because they're not able to, because they aren't strong enough on their own within themselves to leave a person. So during this time, I am very much broken. I'm very much like, realizing that relationship is not necessarily going to work. And I'm kind of looking for someone else at the time. Looking for someone else while I'm still in a relationship that's toxic, because I don't want to be alone. Problem number one: if you don't take time to heal from a relationship that didn't work, you will continue the cycle. And the next time, it will probably be a lot worse. Trust me. So when you break up with somebody, you need to be alone. You need to be by yourself. You need to take a look at yourself. Make sure you still know who you are. If you didn't know who you were before that relationship, then find out who you are by yourself. If you can't function by yourself, you can't function in a relationship. This is how people continuously end up in bad relationship after bad relationship after bad relationship, and then end up in bad marriages, and then end up with a bad life because their relationships are are a cycle of toxicity that they never put a stop to because they were never able to function by themselves. So because I did not take the time to find out who I was before stepping into another relationship, I ended up in another abusive relationship. And when I say abusive, I don't mean physically abusive, because I have not been in a physically abusive relationship. But emotional and mental abuse does exist. It is very, very hard to recognize. It's very, very difficult to deal with and to heal from, because people don't see your scars. So they don't think that you're hurting because there's no physical proof that you've been traumatized, basically. So that answers the question as to how I got into two narcissistic relationships in a row. So anyway, here comes December, comes along, and I'm working. I work at a hospital or whatever, and this guy comes in the hospital. He's one of my patients, and he gets x-rays of his hand or something like that, his hand and wrist or something. And he seemed like a cool guy, and he was talking. I was like, how did you hurt your hand or whatever? And he said, I hurt my hand working out. And I was like, oh, where do you work out at? Because I work out a lot. And he was like, at the gym, the same gym that I go to. I was like, well, I've never seen you in there, or whatever. And he was like, that's where I work out at. It's interesting that I never seen you. So then he kind of made some comment, I guess, trying to charm me or hit on me or whatever. And I was like, in my mind, like, oh, he's cute. So anyway, we ended up exchanging phone numbers that day. And we started texting or whatever. And this is me and narcissist number 2. All right. This is December of 2014. So we started texting back and forth, and initially he didn't call very much either. But I assumed it was because I told him that I was kind of still in a relationship. Like, I'm completely honest with people when I meet them. And that's one of my downfalls too, because narcissist number 2 used a lot of things that I told him when we first met to manipulate me for 5 years. Yes. I was in a relationship with narcissist number 2 for 5 years before I found out that my relationship was toxic, before I found out that this person is not who he said he was. I had no idea that I was in a toxic relationship. Y'all, when I tell y'all, these people are con masters, like pathological liars. Like, they have different personalities that they have learned to use in certain situations, and it's actually like becomes a part of them. It becomes a part of them so good until you will not be able to recognize that they are not being honest with you. They are so good at lying until it's like the first thing that they say. They don't have any emotional response to their lies. They can probably pass a lie detector test. They will have everyone in their lives, including the people closest to them, in their game and believing it, because you would never think that a human being is capable of lying or of being this deceptive, unless you had experienced it. So you're not going to be looking for it. So that's how you get stuck in it. And until it all comes to the forefront and you find out, like, oh my gosh, I've been living a lie for all these years, you're still going to be in it, because you're not going to realize it, because mental and emotional manipulation is it's not easily spottable if you haven't experienced it. or if someone you know hasn't experienced it and they can spot it, like, you will not know. So yeah, we met at work, and like I said, initially we didn't talk a whole lot, and then we started talking more and more. And I'll say, like, getting on into January of the next year and February of the next year, we were talking pretty substantially, because his birthday was in February too, and so was mine. So at that time, I decided that I was going to break up with Narcissist 1. I broke up with Narcissist 1 in February, and I continued to talk to Narcissist 2. Now, another thing that I'm going to tell you is, you breaking up with the narcissist, they don't understand that. They will continue to call you. Like, they may be quiet for maybe a month, maybe 2 months, maybe 6 months, but they never get over you. So my Narcissist 1 ex-boyfriend would still call me sometimes. Like, it would be 5 months later and he would still call me. How are you doing? I'm like, why are you calling me? You know what I'm saying? Like, a year later, he would still call. Like, he would still try to check on me or whatever. And I'm like, I'm cool. But at this point, I'm not interested in him, because Narcissist 2 is so different, complete opposite of Narcissist 1, until I'm like, no, I'm not going to mess up my new relationship for you. You had your chance, so I'm definitely not going to leave my new relationship for you. So me and Narcissist 2 had this crazy friendship. Like, we were friends before anything. Or so I thought. We were friends before anything. We started to talk every day. I started to see him every day. We started to go to the gym a lot together. We were texting all the time. I mean, we saw each other all the time. We were hanging out all the time. And I was starting to like him a lot. But initially when we met, he said, you know, I told him about my boyfriend. He was like, well, I don't mind being number 2. Red flag. They will tell you that if a man tells you that he doesn't want to be in a relationship, believe him. You cannot change a man. I don't care how much you want him to be with you, how much you want to show him that you're worth it. A lot of times these narcissists and these people tell you that they don't want a relationship. You just don't want to believe it because you want a relationship. But they will tell you, they will warn you if you're listening. They will let you know they're not ready. But then you try to like stay and try to think that you're going to change their minds because you're this great girl and you know you're this great girl. I'm telling you, you're lying to yourself, and you're going to get yourself involved in a crap ton of foolishness, and you're going to waste a whole lot of time. So when someone shows you who they are or tells you who they are, believe them. All right, so we're at like 13 minutes right now. So I'm going to stop here, and thank you guys for watching. I don't know how many videos we finna have talking about this specific portion of my life. But I want to like explain it all so that you guys can understand how someone who's smart, who, you know, has everything going for her can end up in toxic relationships. So like and subscribe and share this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Have a good day.